press it all the way, it'll just occlude it. So we often take it, if you feel that it's normal, regular, if it's regular, we will often take it for 30 seconds. But we're going to record it for a minute, so we have to multiply that times 2. So if you get 30 in 30 seconds, then it's going to be 60 beats per minute. Now we had a little more time in the CMA class, so we were taking pulses and we're getting like 110. They were taking it for a minute and multiplying it times 2. You only multiply if it's under a minute. A lot of times, if you're just kind of checking to see, you can even take it for 15 seconds. But if you take it for 15 seconds and it's a little irregular, now you're multiplying times 4. You're really off if it's not regular. So 30 seconds is generally considered the least amount of time to take it. So you're looking at number of beats per minute. I don't know how, I'm just so old that I have to look at a sweep hand to count a minute, to see a minute. And you do the same thing with respirations. You're watching someone breathe in and out, that's one thing, while you're waiting this minute. Well, what nurses usually do is that they grab this wrist with a pulse, and they get that little pressure there. And then while they're looking at their watch, they kind of look over and see how their respirations are going. They count those for 30 seconds without releasing any pressure on this pulse, so they don't know what you're doing, because that makes a difference, doesn't it? And then they take the 30 seconds for the pulse. Okay, let's see what those things are. It's the process in and out. Look at the same old things are affecting that rate. 12 to 20 is a normal for respirations. It's important, as I said, and if your handout has the norms on it, then your handout probably is complete enough, really. We need to know that temperature, 98.6 is norm, pulse, 60 to 100. Do you have any medicines that it says if below 60 withhold? Then there's sometimes it says if it's above 100, call the nurse or doctor. And that's for pulse. If their pulse is over 100, that's considered fast. If now, did they just run up the stairs? No, we have to think about all that. But although I have many people that I have, residents that I work with, that have it over 100, but that becomes their norm then. Okay, so here's our respirations, 12 to 20. You document the respiratory rate the same way. It's a minute, breaths per minute. Let's get to blood pressure real quickly. Systolic is the greatest force. It's the one when the heart beats. I've explained that once already. And diastolic is the least force. That's when the heart is relaxed. I remember it because the down number is diastolic. So systolic's the top, diastolic's the bottom. And this is showing a cuff, but this is the same things again that influence the blood pressure. You know, sleep, rest is what they have you do when they first start diagnosing high blood pressure. Or if you come in with a real high pressure, they'll say, go sit down, take a nap if you can. So sleep, a lack of sleep is a problem. Weight can be a problem, emotions, sex and heredity, we can't do too much about that. But, and all these other things can affect it. Okay, let me get on to here with our norms. It used to be that we were happy when someone's blood pressure got down to be 140 or 150, really is what I should have said. But now we're saying anything over 140 on that top number is pre-hypertensive. Yeah.
Let's say 200, well, let's say 400 pounds, and then it's supposed to be up, right? You're not supposed to.
No, even at 400 pounds, their blood pressure needs to be the same norms. It needs to be between 90 to 140 at the top number, between 60 to 90 at the bottom. Now their norm, now remember I said we have to know their norm too. Their norm may be, their bottom number may be 50 over 100. Well, that, we look at that, we see what's going on. Nothing bad is going on, and it always runs low like that. So what we would know is, if they take something that affects their blood pressure, it's really going to drop. They certainly wouldn't be on blood pressure medicine, but there's other medicines that can affect your blood pressure. So we need to know that. But if you are 300, 400 pounds, you still have to have a blood pressure that stays within this norm. It may be a little higher, and that's the best we've been able to do for you, and get you down to 90 over 120, 150 over 90, and you're excited and everyone's excited about it. But that doesn't mean that that isn't pre-hypertensive. And you're probably on medicine several. Okay, let me see. I think I'm about finished, aren't I? This is about putting that on. The main thing I want to tell you about the equipment on, here, let's get to this other one. Those are your norms. We've gone through that, okay. Let's get to, okay, on heights and weights, you're not as worried about that in their home as, but when they go off in the winter to have their weight done at the doctor's office, be sure they take their coat off and everything else in their pocket so we don't get something really abnormal. It should be the same time every day, and well, I somehow passed through the thing I wanted to show you, and that is the cuffs that you probably use, and they are, here it is. They are like this. This is something you've got to know, and then I'm going to let you go for the day. And that is, if they don't have, if you're using something that's digital like this, and it seems weird, the number you get, it's probably the battery. It doesn't necessarily say E, that it's an error, but you need to know their norm so that you know if what happens. Well, cuffs, this is good because it fits most people better than the ones on the arm. If it's on the arm, it can't be too loose or too tight. So that's why this is good, but you could get something strange like 160 over 110. That person's never had a blood pressure like that. So think, maybe something's wrong. Try it again, change the battery, but if you're still getting it, then trust yourself in what you're getting. Okay, I'll see you next Friday.